No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me. Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school. Of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
Oh, here we go. Sorry about that, Frank. Hi. Buckle up, Buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. I am Liz. I am one of your hosts, and my co-hosts will be joining me as the hour goes on. So, not everybody is happy and merry and bright today. It's a difficult day. Well, some people don't celebrate Christmas at all, of course. And so I'm sure they get more tired of the incessant Christmas music than I do. And if you think about it, Christmas decorations start coming out earlier every single year. And it's like this year, it was before Halloween even. And I was like, what is going on here? Why do we have to have Christmas music 24/7? So welcome to those of you who do not celebrate the holiday. Welcome also to you who celebrate the holiday, but low key, because either it's too stressful or there are too many memories associated with it. So, if you want to give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. So, Santa Claus came a little early and brought a whole bunch of new Epstein file material. And then the folks in New York say, oh, we have about 1 million more documents that we have found that might be related. So it's, and the funny thing about this was the Department of Justice had posted, the redacted versions of the materials on their website. Well, people figured out pretty early on that all you had to do was cut and paste on the redacted areas, then go to another document and paste it there, and you could see under the redactions. So whoever did the redactions did not do a world-class job at doing it, but everybody was out there trying to get all the material before somebody figured it out. So I don't know exactly how much is in the universe right now, but what is available is very disturbing, and it should make some folks take a listen at, why are we letting the president of our country still be the president of our country. So that's one thing that we're going to talk about today. And to those of you who are celebrating and very happy about Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. So that's another thing to talk about is the war, quote unquote, war on Christmas. Because I'm not seeing much of a war on Christmas. I am seeing pretty much par for the course. And like I said, Christmas music starts up in early November or late October. So if you want to join the conversation, give us a call, 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. I want to talk to some of y'all who have read more of the Epstein files than I have, because between my my job and my other stuff, it's hard to find time. Welcome to my co-host, Donna. How are you, Donna?
I am good.
Yeah.
Now that I'm on here.
I don't know what the trouble was, but I'm happy you were able to log in, because it was getting hard to talk and try to figure out the problem at the same time.
Yeah, I've been in the room on the computer and there. I'm on my phone, I'm on my computer, and I finally got in. I got a new phone this week. I had to replace it. Update everything, and it just was horrible.
Right.
Yeah. All right,
So,
here we are.
So, like I said, Santa Claus brought us a big present with the new Epstein files and the promise of a million or more documents maybe related. Have you done any research, or have you done any deep dives into the Epstein stuff that got released and not quite redacted?
Okay, so I got about 2 inches into that, and there was a story. You said deep, right? So,
yeah.
And you know what happened? I read a little snippet about a 13-year-old girl.
Yes.
Okay, and that was enough for the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? I'm going to come back to this, because it was beyond gruesome.
Yeah.
You know, it was worse than, what could be worse than a 13-year-old child being harmed by an adult for their own, raped, by an adult? What could be worse than that? More child murder,
Yes.
right? Which
Yes.
seems to be a theme over the last couple of years. It makes me feel like, children are the fuel for these ultra wealthy people to keep their thing going. It's like, drinking virgin's blood or something. Mm-hmm. It's a weird ritual.
Right.
That they all seem to be into. And I want to be very careful how I talk about this. I think a lot of people are going to get sued once the administration pretends like these redactions are not a real thing. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be one of those people that gets sued. Mm-hmm. But before I go into that, I want to talk a little bit about when people tell us, when Trump voters, and to what level of engagement that we're going to have with Trump voters. And I want to be very clear about something.
Okay.
Ignoring fascism, and let me go on camera here because I want to be emphatic, okay? Ignoring fascism and pretending that rapists, killers, oppressors, people who take pride in their oppression, pretending that any of that warrants more than 2 micrometers, nanoseconds of my thinking is misguided in itself. You see, when you watch someone who has 30 some odd felonies, someone who has a sordid history of not paying their employees and or vendors
and contractors,
when you watch someone who allows someone to give Nazi salutes in the White House, when a man is killed by their drug-addicted child that they've been fighting for their whole lives, and you have nothing to contribute to that. And yet, a man who went college, university by university, helping young people to hate, is enshrined for
Right.
posterity. When you watch that sort of, I owe those people who support that nothing, and I will give them nothing. Okay, so you can call into this show, and you can get your 1 minute. Right, we are bound to allow you to have that space, because these are not our radio waves. And I want to be clear about that. But I simply will not, like I said it before, it didn't work in the 40s and it's not going to work now. Nazis and their affiliates will not be given purchase in my world. And I will leave any place that asks me to do something like that. Okay? You get your 1 minute and then I'll say what I said. And that's how it's going to be. And so that's where it's going to be. You can write all the letters that you like. And I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that, no matter whether I'm on this radio station or not. Period. That's all I got to say.
So the opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF Tampa. And I give the disclaimer because I think the last couple of shows we should have been doing it more often, but there we are. So we have Jim and Holiday. Hi, Jim.
I'm here.
Okay. And?
Oh, hey. So what I was going to say is that all the high elites that are involved in this situation, they should be, made to pay quite a substantial amount of money to into a fund to help the people that suffer through this. They'll never get them by court or anything, but I think that'll be the fair way to go through it, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
And that's all. I'm just going to...
Okay.
All right. See you.
All right, thanks, Jim. Bye. So we have another person coming on, so let's see what they have to say. But it's amazing to me how none of these MAGA folks can change their minds despite all the horrible things that are happening. They're just, everything that they do, everything that Trump does, they're like, yeah, we love Trump, yeah. And it's like, wait, doesn't it matter to you that these things he says are not true? No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Lee and Auburndale. Hi, Lee.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Auburndale. We're down here a little south of Tampa.
Auburndale. Okay, yeah.
Auburndale,
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, I wanted to thank you for all your comments on this blessed morning. And, I think a lot of people that you're trying to address, people who support the current administration, basically... they have their own agenda and they have their own opinions and feelings. They're not going to listen to us. I think the only thing, at least for me in my heart, basically building community as best we can, our bonds with our neighbors, our bonds with our fellow citizens and our groups here that surround us, building the strong bonds and lifting ourselves up as best we can during these very difficult times. I don't know. I just feel like I reaching out to the other side. They don't, as I understand it, I've tried to reach out, and they got their own agenda, their own issues, and they're going to feel the pain just like the rest of us come this new year. And the pain is going to be real. It's going to be vibrant, and there's going to be a lot more discussion. So the best, at least for me, in my own heart, to do is to build the bonds with those in our communities who've helped everybody and worked for everybody and making a strong community that loves everybody. So thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Lee. Let's see. We have Well, you see, I knew people would be listening on Christmas Day. Somebody tried to tell me they wouldn't, and I'm like, no.
Because they don't like their family.
Well, that's
like us.
Yeah, that's one of many reasons. Yeah, staying away from family is important for some folks as well, because it's hard to get around folks that are disagreeable at holidays.
Before we go on to that, I'm going to give my callers more food for thought as we move through these Epstein files. So for all of the people who are saying, oh, it's going to be people are going down. No one's going down. Mm-hmm. If people were going down, they'd have gone down already.
Right.
They'd have gone down before the felonies. They'd have gone down when Biden was in office. There's no going down. And I want to point you guys to a place in history that some of you may be too young to remember. Is that after Nixon, deny. And then after he admitted it, and then we saw the picture of him getting on that plane to go away. He just disappeared. And then Gerald Ford, right? And this was like my first memory of politics, okay? Uh-huh. My first memory of politics. And I was a toddler, okay? 1974. Gerald Ford gets on television. He had a comb over in the beginning, and then he just gave up and he started combing it back. But I had to go look that up because I was remembering that when people were like, somebody's going down. And I was like, going down like Gerald Ford took Nixon down.
Right.
And I went and I remember he thought he was giving us a goodie bag when he told us that, and I will never forget my aunts and uncles, they were wearing bell bottoms. And when Gerald Ford said that he was giving a full pardon to Richard Nixon. Tricky Dick.
What did your aunt and uncle say?
Well, they were young and they were just like, man, that is, they were just, they couldn't believe it. I remember the shock and not the words.
Yeah.
Right? This guy just walks away, in infamy. And so when people say that Donald Trump is going down, if we have to rely on the people that were supposed to take him down before he came back, not only was he allowed to escape all of his evil deeds, this is not allegedly, he's been convicted, I can say that.
Yes.
He has been allowed to not just come back and live a comfy private life free of derision. He has come back as the president of the United States and has now proceeded to dismantle the United States government with its people.
Right.
So, I just imagine a giant with all of these like Lilliputans attached to his legs. And he's just like, I'm going to do what I want to do. So yeah, no one's going down, but it's entertaining. If that's what you can call rape, child rape is entertainment. No one is going down. So I want to know, why are we even doing this exercise?
Ah, okay. Maria, welcome. Hey,
everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. So, did you hear Donna's comments just now?
I mean, yeah, I heard Donna's comments. I think it's actually worse than that because the Supreme
always makes it worse, Maria.
Worse. Because, the Supreme Court codified, they basically gave him a get-out-of-jail-free card. Remember, you were talking about your childhood memory, your toddler memory. My toddler memory was a Nixon interview that he did with, what was the guy's name? His last name begins with a C. I can't remember. But anyway, he said, when the president does it, it's legal. Didn't matter what it was. When the president does it, it's legal. Do you remember that interview?
Was it Cronkite?
No, it was
one of the Wallaces.
No, it was the same guy that had the show. It might have been David Frost.
Ah.
Maybe it was David Frost and not but yeah, he was like, well, when the president does it, it's legal, right?
Right.
And so, we could question that, and we could be disappointed, shocked, and surprised by the full pardon of Gerald Ford, but the Supreme Court has already preemptively essentially pardon this guy for anything that he's doing. I mean, the question is, okay, he's free, free as a bird, but what about all of the money, the grifting,
Yes.
the pocket lining of every single one of his family members? There is a movie, there's quote unquote documentary of Melania that comes out, I think, in a few days. She got $40 million for that piece of trash, right? How is that okay?
Wow.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I think about all of the things that have been um, allowed in the last 11 months that are insane to me. Like in no part of reality in my previous that like, has it ever been okay to do these kinds of things? Never.
Wow. All right. So let's talk to Howard in Clearwater. Hi, Howard.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, Howard.
and thank you very much for doing a live show today. All the people who taken the day off, appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
As always, I love your show. Great what you do. But thinking about all this turmoil, at some point it's going to change or shift or stop. A couple of years from now, 3 years from now, and all the people who are going in the direction that we feel is wrong, they'll need somewhere else to go. And it typically goes back toward the middle ground. So instead of keeping people radicalized to the left, to the right, whatever the direction was, got to hold the middle ground. Because if nobody holds the middle ground, where do you go when your champion fades away?
Well, the problem with that, though, Howard, is the middle ground now, politically anyway, is way right of the Reagan Republicans. So
I would offer that rather than try to hold a middle ground, that we try to find a moral ground. Right?
Amen. Yes.
There are some things that are just not right, and that we should be, if we want to call ourselves a deliberative democracy, and there are those that want to call it a republic. We have to decide to abandon right and left and find a moral ground where everybody has equity, everybody has an opportunity to not just exist here and eke out an existence, but to thrive. And so that we do not stack the deck on behalf of the well-heeled and the well-to-do, and that we have a place where everyone deserves health care, housing, and an opportunity to thrive. That doesn't mean that everybody has to go to college. It means that everybody has a right to what? Pursue happiness. And let's advocate for that. Let's advocate for a moral ground, right? As opposed to center.
Yes. I agree
Because
totally.
the center, the goalpost on the center is always moving.
Right.
But if we root these things that we say, according to what our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence, certain things are self-evident. Let those be like morally based. What is right? What is just? What provides equity for all of us? Let's go there. That's what I would offer.
All right. Thanks so much for calling, Howard.
Yeah, I agree with that, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Bye-bye. All right. Gary in St. Petersburg. Hi, Gary.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, all things considered. But, I just want to wish everybody, just to tick Trump off, happy holidays. And I just wanted to say, this is the only political thing I'm going to say at all, is remember, I'm a boomer, so I remember, Nixon, the Watergate thing, the whole thing. And it wasn't the crime that brought him down, it was the cover.
Yes, exactly.
So I think more people need to realize that, and that's what's going to bring these, people, and I'm doing air quotes so hard, I think I broke a finger. But, so that's how that went down. I remember that. I was, I don't know how old I was. I was when was that, 74?
74, yeah.
Yeah, so I was a teenager. Well, you know, I don't want to say a tween. Because we didn't use
They
that
hadn't
word
been
back.
invented yet, Gary.
I know. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the podcast. I'm going to name two. I've Had It. And,
Yes.
The Dangerous One. They just did a thing of, they read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." And, you know, it was all Santa went down Trump's chimney, and he held up a copy of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and it was heavily redacted. So I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah.
But yeah, you all have a great day.
You
and,
too.
You know, wonderful holidays, and let's all pray the new year. If you pray, the new year brings a lot more good than this last year did.
Very good. Thanks so much for calling, Gary.
Oh, you're welcome.
All
Have
right.
a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. You can give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. Once again, the Surly disclaimer: the opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF Tampa. Let's talk to Crazy Jay in Weeki Wachee. Hi, Crazy Jay.
It's Dave, but that's okay.
Oh, Dave. Okay. Yeah, Frank doesn't spell correctly a lot of the time, so sorry about that.
That's okay. Anyway, first of all, where's the 5-10 second delay or missing on the recording of Epstein's cell when he was assassinated? I mean, when he was murdered. I mean, when he was when he hung himself. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
And, yeah. And secondly, why did the Fuhrer not send National Guard on December 6th when he wanted to overthrow the government and send all of them people down to wreck the whatever they did? And now he wants to send the National Guard to Chicago and other places? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Sieg Heil.
Well, you know, he wasn't going to call the National Guard in to defeat his minions that were storming the Capitol. So,
yeah, how about
but it's a good point that, see that? He could have done this at any time. He chose not to, so.
Yeah, he watches it on TV, and
yeah,
him and Rudy.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
What a pair.
Thanks so much for calling, Crazy Dave.
Yeah, I love your show.
Thanks,
you. Dave.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. One thing I want to say before we go on is that, and this is to Maria's point earlier about finding the moral high ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In time, what I know as an organizer is that in times of relative economic health of our nation, people concern themselves with social issues. In times of economic and tough
prosperity.
Prosperity.
In prosperity, people concern themselves with social issues. When we're in austerity, people concern themselves with austerity. So the problem with what's happening in 2026, if we look at the writing on the wall, we're already in tough economic times. People are doing two things. They're alternating just based on the social media, talking to people, because you can't trust your own algorithms because they're showing you what you're looking at.
Right.
Is that people who are moderate and liberal Democrats, even progressives, are vacillating between Cardi B and saying that she would never go Republican. And like Nicki Minaj did, right? And freaking out about the economy. So what 2026 is going to take us deeper into the economy. There's nothing on the horizon that suggests there are any fixes in place other than them hijacking the Federal Reserve from Jerome Powell, appointing a predecessor. No, I was appointing someone to succeed him that does exactly what the Trump administration wants, which, if history of this year of Trump 2.0 is context, is only going to make things worse. And so here's what I anticipate my predictions for the new year. I didn't tell you guys, I think I was in D.C. I was in D.C. last week, right?
Yes.
So we went up there and try again to stop the healthcare cuts, right? And the Save the ACA. And Mike Johnson was adamant, we're not going to have this vote. We were in a press conference doing live streaming when the word came in that a fourth Republican had signed on to support forcing the vote. And then someone else ran up, another Republican ran up and signed it right in front of the speaker as he was hitting the gavel. He's like, I don't care. I want my name on this. And so we got a vote, but we didn't get the vote. The vote on the ACA will not come until January, where they've already canceled people's policies. Florida Blue is telling me they're going to cancel me if I don't pay them by the 1st. And I was trying to see if they was going to let me pay the $870 and not the $1350.
Right.
And that I could not have to pay that extra money. And maybe I could have a little Christmas fun. Absolutely not. You will need to pay that by the 1st, or they're going to cancel you.
Jeez.
Right? And then you won't be able to re-enroll, and you'll lose all of your prior authorizations. So it's kind of crazy. So they don't care. So if that is any indication, we're going to see more of the same in 26. And so people are going to be scrambling for survival. They're going to be in desperation, and they will not be able to focus on finding that moral rebar, if you will. And building community is going to come out of necessity. Think after a hurricane or the flash flooding that's happening in California right now, that the United States government is going to teach Gavin Newsom a lesson for his media personality, right? For his tweet. And they're going to dangle, and they've already gutted their insurance from the wildfires. And so the state of California will be seeking federal assistance, which they may or may not get. Now, that's just going to add to the stress. When I was in D.C., and this is the last thing I'll say, driving down the streets of D.C., as I've done 8 times this year in different visits, the for sale signs, the open commercial real estate. And we went to this place called DC City Smokehouse, excellent smoked meats. And the rubs are out of this world. I should have gotten some to bring back to you, Liz, because I know you're a white person that likes seasoning.
Yes.
But when the guy kept saying, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you. This is great. Because there were like 5 of us. And we came in late, and that was like probably helped them make their goal for the day. It is bad. It is bad. So 2026, austerity or prosperity, which will it be? I think we know the answer.
Let me read some emails here because our listeners have been busy. This is from Bill. In 73 years, no one has even attempted to stop me from celebrating Christmas. That so-called war must have been declared in some other part of my neighborhood. Peace. Thanks, Bill. This says, good morning. About those files, do particular cities or states show up? I'm not well versed enough in the files to be able to say that, but I do know the infamous island shows up quite a bit. Donna or Maria, do y'all know about if particular cities are hotbeds for the pedophilia?
I think it's all the usual suspects, right? Like Palm Beach is very prominent and significant there. Then you talk about his island. You talk about Cambridge, Massachusetts, and New York. Those are, it's not going to be Ames, Iowa.
Right. Exactly. All right. David says, hi, ladies. Great show today. I am digging it. I wonder what y'all think about Megyn Kelly downplaying Epstein's crimes because she apparently thought the girls were old enough to be raped. WTF. It's so aggravating and irritating that the Trump chumps downplay these horrible crimes. This is from.
Well, she's not the first one.
No.
I think the disappointing,
Right.
the shocker there is that A, she's a woman, and B, that I think isn't she an attorney?
Megyn Kelly?
I hope not.
I don't think so.
I thought she went to law school, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'll Google it up real quick.
I think that it's disappointing that that a woman who is a mother who at some point in her life was a 15-year-old girl.
Yes.
Lacks such moral imagination or empathy that this is okay, right? Like, and quite frankly, one of the first people to sort of champion this idea that a 15-year-old can give consent is a person who's actually in those files. And that was Alan Dershowitz.
Oh, God, yes. That guy's...
And he's a law professor at Harvard.
And you were 100% correct, Maria, that Megyn Kelly is indeed an attorney. And
Oh, my goodness.
yeah, she attended Albany Law School and graduated in 1995 with a Juris Doctor. So
I thought she was, yeah.
wow, dang.
Come get your people.
Sorry, Donna, what'd say?
Come get your people.
Yeah, I can't get these people. These ain't my people at all.
Your guild.
Holy cow, yeah. That is a shock to me. So, but I have learned something new today. So thank you for that, Maria. Let's see, we have a text message that says, Nixon, what about Iran-Contra or the October surprise? Yeah, I'm sure that we can...
I mean, it's only an hour show.
Right. Epstein had been abusing...
We could go on and on.
Yeah. Epstein had been abusing girls since 93. This was an ongoing enterprise. All presidents since are guilty, not solely Biden. For once, I didn't jump on the Biden bandwagon, but yeah, it's... Well, and that's interesting because everybody on the MAGA side starts pointing at Bill Clinton, of course, and they even put a picture of him in either the swimming pool or the hot tub on Rape Island, I guess. I don't know where this hot tub was located, but then here comes Bill Clinton and he says, release it all, release the whole thing. I'm not scared. So
Of course he's not, because of the reasons I said earlier. He ain't going down.
Right. Exactly. But, Martha Stewart spent, 3 years in jail for insider trading? What was that about? I mean, talk about...
I know.
Yeah, disproportionate stuff. Let's see. Okay, this one is a cartoon. Very cute. Thanks, Fred. And then... Yes, Megyn Kelly is an attorney. Yes. Hello, Glenn. Any particular modeling agencies mentioned by chance?
Yeah. Ford Modeling Agency. What was the other one that was run by John Casablancas?
Wilhelmina.
I didn't see Wilhelmina in there, but I did see Ford and Casablanca. I forget what the name of it was. And then there's another one. There was a modeling agency that Trump himself founded.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, because that's a sure way to rope in young, fresh-faced women is like, oh, you would be such a good model,
Really? You think so?
Wow, that is mind-blowing. Let's talk to Simon in Lakeland. Hi, Simon.
Good morning, ladies.
How are you?
Morning. I am fantastic. It's great to be alive. And
Yep.
buckle up. Here we go. It's interesting, the ambiguity of building communities. Maybe someone can speak to the definition of the hierarchy while you're building communities, quote unquote. And the other thing with Democrats, I don't think most of them are living a life of asceticism. I really don't. And the other question I have to ask is, what's the definition of surplus? And is there a zero-sum game when you're calculating this equity? You know, those are always questions. Why don't you ladies talk about models that are out there that we should look at, that you consider successful in various municipalities or states, so that people who are distraught about where they're living right now can go to these places?
Okay.
So I never hear any of that. And I want to say one last thing. Well, two things, very quickly, because I know I have my 90 seconds. One of the tenets of fascism is paleogenesis, which is actually the rebirth, considering of a revolution to retell the story of the country. And lastly, Donna, you could have gotten an iPhone in Gaza, gold-plated with diamonds. They're selling for $11,000.
All right. Thanks for calling, Simon.
So you guys know about word salads, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the next? We have another caller?
No, we're done with caller. We have time for a few more calls if anybody else wants to call in. 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org.
See, right now, I've reached that age, right? I'm that perimenopausal age where you stop allowing people to waste your time. And you start saying no. So the estrogen like forces your hand. It makes you want to be nice to people. Makes you want to give them things. Right? It makes you want to share yourself. But nature did that on purpose. But they give you free at the end.
The I Do Not Care Club.
Give you free at the end. You get to come back to yourself. And so what happens is when I combined perimenopause with magnesium and L-tryptophan, which was a supplement that the good Dr. Cole recommended to me earlier this year, and it set me off on a journey, a supplement journey. And of course, as you know, Americans it has gotten out of control. My supplement regimen has gotten out of control. But it has really brought me to a place where I listened to someone, and I should have done that last week when the guy called in and was saying, you know, why do I vote for Trump, and do you care why I vote for Trump? I should have just passed the microphone, or we reserve the right to allow people to have their minute and then move on. We don't have to spend 15 minutes, which is about 10 or 11 minutes we have left here. We don't have to spend that time adjudicating foolishness or what we deem to be foolishness. We don't have to say it's foolishness. We don't have to call you foolish. We can just skip it. And so when someone says to me, you must listen, absolutely must listen, because these are not my airwaves. I do not have to respond. There's no mandate for me to respond. And so that's going to be I can't speak for my Surly sisters, but estrogen and magnesium, lower estrogen and high magnesium say that I don't care.
Okay.
So remember last week we had a caller that said, I believe her name was Sarah. Remember last week she said, don't take the bait?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm here to remind my Surly sisters,
yes,
not to take the bait.
Oh,
she did. After all was said and done, she said exactly that. You guys don't even got to do that.
Right. So let's talk to Julie in Tampa. Hi, Julie.
Good morning, ladies. I just want to say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Blessed Yuletide, and
yes,
Happy Hanukkah, and everything you celebrate.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just out and about counting my blessings today. I just want to share a quick story about the kindness that's out there. last night I mentioned to a young friend of mine that I loved her mom's homemade baked bread, and they just dropped it off. Her mom made me herb bread from the herbs from the garden, and they came all the way over just to drop off that homemade.
Oh, that's so nice.
Nice.
For me, and it's just one of those like, unexpected things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say there's a lot of negativity going on, and the more random acts of kindness we can do for each other, the happier this world will be, and that includes overseas. So,
amen, Julie. Thank you
Agreed.
so much for calling.
Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
You
Bye-bye.
too, Julie.
All right, we have Mike in Sarasota. Hi, Mike.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call, and I will happily claim my 1 minute.
Okay.
One, universally accepted and non-controversial, it's nothing new, definition of racism is a system where one ethnicity reigns supreme and rules over all others. If you one example, think of the American South in the 1800s, early 1900s. But it also applies to Zionism, where one ethnicity, Jews, reign supreme over everyone else, Christians, Muslims, etc. So, as the United Nations once voted, and it is obviously true, Zionism is racism. And Zionists are, by definition, racist. So, my question to you is, why, in the case of Simon, do you continually allow him, an avowed Zionist and therefore racist, to come onto your show and spew his brand of racism?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Mike. The reason that we allow Simon his 1 minute or 1 minute and 30 seconds is because he's a part of the community. And like it or not, folks out there have the same opinions Simon has. And so it's community radio. It's not people who are one set of believers radio.
Well, I want to say this, all right? I don't think that Simon should be allowed to come on the show for many reasons. And when there are degrees of harm. So there's like saying your opinion. I support Trump and I think Trump is great. Okay, people call in and say that all the time. Mm-hmm. My personal thoughts are that some people cross the line into creating harm for others. And if I were the only DJ on this show, I would not take calls from Simon.
Okay.
Okay. And we've been over that. And Liz knows this. Okay. You guys can't see us. I can see Liz and she can see me right now. And so Liz knows this. So one of the things you have to understand is that we're often lockstep, right? And in sync with each other. But there's some things that we don't agree on. And I personally think that when someone crosses over to rah-rah Trump into, yes, let's kill 6 million people, we've passed some point of what's acceptable in public discourse. And I do believe that inside of this space, and maybe not inside of this particular Surly Voices space, but in other spaces, I feel like that Simon has crossed that line. And that's all I can say here.
Okay. Eduardo in Tampa. Hi, Eduardo.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I don't know, was it your show that you were going to get into? I like to be the minor caller. Who was going to get into the health care plan, the wonderful health care plan of our wonderful government, Congress, and in D.C.?
Donna was up in D.C. last week protesting to keep the Affordable Care Act.
Okay.
Didn't we talk about that? I mean, I think we've talked about it the last couple of shows, but yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be an ongoing conversation for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people coming out of these holidays. Everybody's all in good mood, but come January, credit card bills.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
exactly right.
Financial burdens.
Exactly. And I mean, even if you have health insurance, the premiums are so expensive.
I was just about to say that.
Holy cow. Thank you for calling, Eduardo.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
All right.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good weekend.
So let me just go over. I'll give you the 1 minute spiel here because I actually did have the update for you guys prepared. Open enrollment is underway. The first period of open enrollment was December the 15th. The final deadline is January the 15th. So if you have not enrolled, that does not necessarily stick for people who are currently enrolled in the ACA. If you did not choose your new plan, you will be auto-enrolled into the old plan that you had. And if you'd like to change that plan, you can do so before January the 15th. If you auto-enroll and don't plan on making any changes, you need to check with your actual insurance company, whomever you use, to make sure that you're not going to be canceled as of January 1st if you delay payment. Generally, payment is due by the end of the month that we're in. So if I'm receiving care all through the month of January, I still have until the end of the month to pay that premium. So you will still have that, but you need to check with your individual provider. The CMS reports that 5.76 million plan selections as of December the 5th. I want to remind people that Florida is kind of ground zero for this whole thing because we do not have the Medicaid expansion, meaning that fewer people actually qualify for Medicaid in the state of Florida and as such have gone over to the marketplace. Now, we have 7 million people. There's about 20 million people in Florida, and that's almost half of us. I mean, 3 million is a lot of people. I don't want to throw that away. But 1/3 of Floridians are enrolled in the ACA. So this is not going to be without consequence for us, okay? On top of hurricanes and floods and sinkholes and alligators and falling armadillos, falling lizards, okay?
I had the picture of the armadillo falling out of the tree, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, and I-4 is a health hazard, and so is I-95.
Oh, my gosh,
I-4. We got a lot of things trying to get us down here. Now, if you are concerned about what's going to happen in January, there will be a vote when they return, when our representatives return. Mike Johnson did not want to do the hurried vote that Congress people were asking for before the holidays. His words, he wants to take the time to try to defeat the measure. Okay, what he's signing his people up for, and this is all I will say for your update for this week, and I'll have more next week, if there's anything new, is that he's signing Republicans in red states, Republican representatives up for losses in November, because there are places like Alaska where 40% of Senator Murkowski's constituents receive Medicaid. 40%. So there are
she had cut a deal.
She did.
Yeah, when she voted against or to vote to open the country back up. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of cloakroom dealing going on. I would say don't hold your breath for this. Mike Johnson is dead set on burning this whole thing down. We're messing with food and medicine. That's what we saw for this third quarter. We're messing with food and medicine. So for those of you who live comfortable lives and you think this is going to touch you, when you mess with food and medicine, which we haven't done, it's been the third rail of politics forever. These things aren't just going to go back into place. Right.
Stand by.
Well, and, to talk about model, I mean, we're the only major country in the world that does not have health care, universal health care. All right. So Frank just gave me the finger, which means it's time to wrap it up. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Maria. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and miss seeing y'all. And we need to plan a girls' trip. And I have tons of ideas. But anyway, thank you for listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch. I like